KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.
Hey, it's me, Mike Evans. Good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul. One more day, we got the weekend. And the weekend brings new movies to Marcus Theaters. This report brought to you by Marcus Theaters, and I'll have some reviews for you tomorrow. The Jimmy Kimmel, Aaron Rodgers feud started way back when Rodgers didn't want to take the COVID vaccine. During his monologue in 2021, Jimmy Kimmel back then told viewers, you know, a reporter asked Rodgers, are you concerned that you might get COVID and be forced to miss a big game like the Super Bowl? Which Rodgers said, I don't like playing the what-if game. Then Kimmel said, but he's okay with the what if I infected a teammate and end up killing him game. Oh, brother. That feud has been going on since 2021. Then this week on ESPN, Aaron Rodgers joked that maybe Jimmy Kimmel's name might be on the Jeffrey Epstein list. It's going to be released later this month. Well, Jimmy Kimmel exploded, called a press conference, says he is probably going to sue Aaron Rodgers for suggesting that his name be on Epstein's list. Come on, man. Bill Clinton, Henry Kissinger, John Kerry, and many, many other much bigger names than Kimmel are already known to be on that 150-name list. Come on, grow up, guys. By the way, Jimmy Kimmel and I both worked at K-Rock here in Los Angeles. I was never a fan of old Jim. Gee, I hope I'm not on that list. So sad. It's been 70 years since Mickey Mouse was born, which means as of January 1, Mickey Mouse's image becomes public domain. No longer a Disney character. And there are no fewer than a dozen cartoons and films and comic strips and other outlets that plan to showcase Mickey Mouse in X-rated and pornographic material. That's just sad. Here is some very odd movie news. Ratatouille is making a huge comeback in New York theaters. No, not the movie. It's hundreds and hundreds of rats that have infiltrated several New York City theaters, sending patrons screaming and fleeing from the theaters. Unbelievable. Sports news, movie reviews, predictions. Tomorrow, I'm Mike Evans. You are dismissed.
The best of the KQ Morning Show.
Have you ever quit a job on day one? Here it is. Cindy wrote, I did as a young woman going to work at Burger King. They wanted me to put on a red shirt. I went in the bathroom and was going to put it on, but instead walked out the back door. Redhead, don't wear red. Yeah. I love it.
I know someone, Maureen, a friend of mine right here in Minnesota, went to work for an A&W, and she came back after that first day because we were all excited. We thought we were getting free fast food for life.
Of course.
What didn't work out? A&W, they wanted her to wear a brown polyester top and bottom, and she said, look at my hips. I can't wear brown.
I worked at a Wendy's for one day. I was a junior in high school. The manager was a senior at my same school, and he said, come work for me at Wendy's. And I said, sounds like a plan. What's the food story? He said, you just load up, man. Go for it. I said, great. I mentioned on my way out the door to my dad that I'd been hired, that I had a job at Wendy's. And my dad said, and this wasn't news to me, but he had just decided to go into the restaurant business, and he had bought a restaurant in town that was already up and running and not doing so well. And he looked at me and said, no, son, you're working at the restaurant, which was his way of saying, no, you're going to work for free all summer, which is exactly what I did. Yes. So I went to Wendy's. I walked into my first shift to quit. I did get a bowl of chili and a Frosty. Don't worry. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, first things first.
I mean, yeah, that was quitting a job that I didn't have a choice in. Usually, it's more the employee's choice to just walk right out. Zep, surely, my man, you're on this list.
Between radio jobs, went to work for a telemarketing company selling credit card insurance. And I thought, this sucks, but I'm getting through. I'm about halfway through my first shift. When the lady next to me says, blah, 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 yeah, and she goes, and it's all a scam. I said, what do you mean it's a scam? We're selling credit card insurance. She said, your credit card is already insured. We're just selling you double insurance that you don't need. And I went, okay, even I can't do this because I'm calling little old ladies in Brooklyn. Right. Waiting for, you got to get 3 no's out of them. After 2 no's, they're like, you sound like a sweet boy. I'll just take it. No, don't take it. My God, woman.
If the woman who told you it was a scam, if she'd been super hot, would you have stayed there?
Yes. And if it it paid $2 an hour more, I would have stayed there.
Sure. Okay, just making sure. Tony, the Mr. Responsible around here, I know for a fact you've also left on day one.
Yeah, I scooted the first day. Back in the day, downtown Minneapolis housed an upscale shopping center, including FAO Schwartz, a high-end toy store.
Yeah.
And as a struggling improv comedy performer, we all took jobs as characters when the store opened. I thought, I got a guitar, I have a cowboy hat. I'm a singing cowboy.
Yeah.
I knew like 2 chords, and I felt humiliated all day. The store played this endless loop of, welcome to our world.
The FAO Schwartz. No, man, that song is unbearable.
All day.
Yeah.
So I just told the manager, I forgot to tell you I'm moving to Chicago and I'm leaving today. I don't know why it had to be that specific. I could have just quit, but it sounded cool.
Candace, have you ever left a job on day one?
I always wait it out a little bit, which makes it harder to leave,
Sure.
I always want to give it a chance.
Are we talking about relationships or jobs here?
What's the difference?
What is the difference?
It's all work.
You're
That's right.
It's work.
I got hired at a grocery store. They needed someone in produce. I said, I got this, man. No problem. And he said, I'm going to need you to start Saturday at 10 a.m. And I looked this man dead in the eye, shook his hand, and I said, I will see you Saturday at 9:45 because Don Gorman told me you 15 minutes early is late. So I said, yeah, I'll be there. And my phone, I lived in an apartment with the singer in my band at that time, a little local band going nowhere fast. That phone rings at 10:15, and I literally roll over. I'm like, hello? I'm calling for Steve, and I immediately was like, oh, this doesn't sound like a friend. And I go, yeah, this is he. Literally no idea that what's happening. I walked out of that store on the Wednesday and completely forgot I had even applied, much less been hired. And he said, this is so-and-so at Houchins. And I went, oh. And he said, you were supposed to be here at 10. And I said, I didn't say I have to move to Chicago, but I came up with the next best thing was, oh, yeah, sorry, man, I broke my foot. I have no idea where that came from. And the guy said, okay, and just hung up on me. And I was like, damn, can never go into Houchins again.
I think you heard the broken foot before.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, the old broken foot.
The best of the KQ Morning Show.
Craig Gass is joining us, who is hysterically funny. Also, one of the great impressionists.
Very talented lad.
Craig, welcome, sir. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you? Did you tell the audience I ran into you at the Super Bowl? I got in a lot of trouble that week because friends of mine at these sports stations were asking me to join them as somebody famous so that it sounded impressive back to the cities they were broadcasting.
Sure, yeah.
And the only remotely sports guy that I can do an impression of is Tom Arnold, who used to host the Best Damn Sports Show, period.
Right.
So I was going down the row doing all these radio hits, being full-blown Tom Arnold going, hey, guys, it's been a lot of fun here at the Super Bowl. A lot of celebrities are coming. I was actually at a Cocaine Anonymous meeting last night with Brett Favre. I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but I was at a Cocaine Anonymous meeting with Brett Favre. He's a big cokehead, and his sponsor is Bob Costas, who's addicted to upskirt porn. I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but he's always pumping off at work. And I just started rattling off random sports people and attaching them to addictions. People started tweeting Tom Arnold from around the world going, dude, it's supposed to be anonymous. And Tom started fighting everyone on Twitter. It was amazing. But yeah, I mean, you and I there's a lot of things that we've never even discussed that I was looking forward to catching up with you on.
Well, I have to start at the very beginning because this has always been a mind-blowing thing to me about you, and that's for a guy that does so many voices, you actually grew up in a deaf family.
My mom, my dad, and my sister are all completely deaf, which sounds like a joke, but it's not.
Right.
I've opened for a lot of rock bands. I've opened for Kiss. I've done stand-up comedy opening for Metallica, and I found the most insensitive moments. Like when I opened for Metallica, the drummer of Metallica, Lars Ulrich, actually introduced me to his band by saying, hey, man, this is Craig. This is the guy that does all the voices, and check it out. His his whole family is retarded. I go, "You're not retarded."
Oh, my
God. Like, you are messing my story up. But
Oh, my.
But most people will get sensitive when I tell them that my family is deaf, which is funny to me because the most insensitive jokes I've ever heard about deaf people have been from my own deaf family.
Oh, well, sure. The best jokes come from the people who are the butt of those jokes. I mean, you gotta embrace it. So I'm not surprised to hear that.
Like a couple years ago, I threw a surprise birthday party for my sister, and afterwards we're sitting down at dinner, and my sister, who is deaf, is signing to me, and she said, "Do you want to hear a good joke?" And I said, "Sure." And then she said, "Me too." Yeah, but growing up in a deaf family, I couldn't learn how to talk from my family. I learned how to talk by copying all the voices I heard on TV. And I never got an accent from the Bronx, which is where I'm from. And everybody in the Bronx sounds like Tracy Morgan. Everybody in the Bronx talk like this,
right.
Whether you black or white, male or female. That's crazy. Hey, this is the voice of your next door neighbor, and I'm a Vietnamese girl. That's crazy. So,
right.
The weirder the voice, the easier it is for me to do it. From Christopher Walken, who's got a real stop and go kind of voice, where he'll talk every once in a while. He'll stop, and then he'll keep going. Or Adam Sandler, who's really silly, shibby-doo. So it became a superpower that I've been able to do.
Craig, it's funny you just said that. I was thinking to myself 2 minutes ago, I was going to say, well, everybody always says, would you rather be able to fly or would you rather be able to be invisible? And I was like, man, this is a when the Tom Arnold story, that's a superpower you have. You can screw up people's lives who are thousands of miles away because you literally sound just like them.
Yeah, and when we were teenagers trying to get out of the house to go out and party, I could call all of our parents and sound like one of our parents. Like it was.
Oh, that's unreal.
And let everybody know that everyone was going to be okay.
That's absolutely incredible. Yeah, you don't have to just do famous people. You can do your best friend's dad. You are the king if you're doing that in high school.
Yeah, and it obviously led to radio, and then now, doing voiceover stuff, Family Guy, American Dad, a lot of acting roles in between.
Sure.
I was discovered by Family Guy on YouTube. I never auditioned for them. Their casting director, Linda Lamontagne, called me up. We would like to offer you a job. Are you available? I was sitting in a Long John Silver's when she called me. And I said, yeah. Of all the shows I've been on, King of Queens, Sex and the City, Law and Order, never watched any of those shows, but Family Guy, I've been a super fan of. I was excited when I went in. It was just me and Seth MacFarlane alone in a recording studio. And I got so nervous walking in that every time he made a joke, I would laugh a little too hard. I would go, and he'd go, "Whoa, relax, just calm down." I go, "All right, sorry." I felt like I'm talking to a girl for the first time. The whole recording session barely lasted 5 minutes. Seth kept doing one line as Peter Griffin, where he kept saying, "This is crazier than when Al Pacino was a slumlord laundromat tenant." And then they cut to me as Al Pacino, surrounded by a bunch of broken down washers and dryers, going, "You're out of order, and you're out of order, and you're all out of order."
There it is.
I did that 3 times. I recorded that line, and then Seth, who was running the board, said, "All right, I think we're good." And I'm so nervous because I believe in my mind that we are going to be friends now. So I stand up. I love that laugh, Candace. I stood up and said, "So, you want to hang out?" And he goes, "Hey, what do you mean hang out?" And I said, I don't know, you want to grab a coffee or something? And he goes, "I have to work." And I said, "Okay, do you want me to leave?" And he goes, "Yeah, get the hell out of here." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." Grabbed my paperwork, walked out, and every time I've come back, Seth MacFarlane's never around. It's always this guy, Mike Henry, who does the voice of Cleveland and the creepy old guy. And every time I see Mike, I go, "Hey, Mike, is Seth around?" And every time I see him, he goes, "Don't worry about Seth. We'll get you out of here real quick." Well, get you out of here real quick. Like, I genuinely creeped out one of my favorite people in the world.
He clearly has some, he's got some lines in the sand. It's all right. Live and learn, brother. My last question, it's a very simple one. What's the hardest voice? They're all perfect, but which one took the most work?
It's fun to me to give up halfway. You know what's weird is I can't do Mark Wahlberg, but I do something I call out-of-breath Mark Wahlberg.
Perfect. Let's have it.
Which everyone across your audience is lowering their expectations already, which you should. So, out-of-breath Mark Wahlberg is, I can teach you how to do this. Heavy breathing and just say a few words at a time. This is the whole Mark Wahlberg impression. Guys, are you serious? That's the whole impression. That's the whole impression.
That's absolutely spectacular. That's fantastic. Craig, thank you for calling in, brother. I'm sorry to have to cut you out. GetGass, GetGass.com is the site. Take care, brother. Have a great time when you're in town.
You got it. Thank you, brother.
The best of the KQ Morning Show.
Back to the best of the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
And basically, feud is a combination food and nude. And that's right. That's right. You get a reservation, you walk into the restaurant, you disrobe entirely, and you sit in a room full of nude people and eat the meal. There's a lot of things I would think twice about doing in the nude, and just dining is one of them.
The crumbs. You never think about the crumbs, but they get in all those hard-to-reach places. And
sure. There's been a similar pop-up, if you will, New York, San Francisco. Guests arrive. As I said, they strip completely naked. There's a breathwork class followed by a plant-based meal. If I'm eating in the nude, I need blood. I need red meat. I need to go full cave. I mean, this is like old school. I got my bits dangling. I feel like there should be wild animals at play.
You wouldn't order anything flambe, would you, at the table?
How about fondue?
With the hot stuff.
Pass some more of the caramelized carrots. No, give me a steak. Give me a pork chop or something, man. I mean,
big turkey leg.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Give me a turkey leg and a goblet of wine. On this day in 1970, a whale had washed up on the beach, and it lost its life. It washed up on the beach. Nobody could figure out how to get it back in the water. We still don't. I still don't think scientists really understand why whales will beach themselves. This was a large whale on a beach, not the kind of beach where people go out and get suntans necessarily. It's the Northwest Oregon. It's rugged and beautiful, but it's not like, you're sitting there with your umbrella and the kids are making sandcastles. It's a rugged beach area.
Right.
And there's a giant whale on the beach that is no longer with us. And somebody got the brilliant idea, well, we don't have the ability to put this thing out to sea. It's dead. Maybe what we should do is, just put some dynamite out there and blow it up.
Hell yeah!
That's literally what they did.
Yeah,
that was the plan to get rid of a sperm whale that was washed up on the beach.
The idea was that they would use so much dynamite that it would literally disintegrate. They would blow it up into just a big, bloody, blubbery mist rather, and then it would just harmlessly fall back to Earth, not in massive chunks of blubber that could say, crush a car.
Right,
break someone's spine. Here's a little bit of that news report from 1980.
Well, I'm confident that it'll work. The only thing is we're not sure just exactly how much explosives it'll take to disintegrate this thing so the scavengers, seagulls, and crabs and whatnot can clean it up. Our cameras stopped rolling immediately after the blast. The humor of the entire situation suddenly gave way to a run for survival as huge chunks of whale blubber fell everywhere. A parked car over a quarter of a mile from the blast site was the target of one large chunk. The passenger compartment literally smashed. Everyone on the scene was covered with small particles of dead whale.
Yeah, this car is totaled. I mean, it looks like you dropped another car on top of it. In fact, you dropped about 300-pound pile of blubber from a whale a quarter of a mile away.
That is not Les Nessman, and that is not WKRP in Cincinnati reporting on turkeys. My God, I thought they could fly. That's a real story. That's 1970 in Oregon, and yes, the footage There's a YouTube link where you can see the footage. Yeah, but I mean, the lesson was learned. Always do what you can to avoid a 300-pound chunk of flying whale blubber, to be sure.
The humanity.
I think I said 80, you're right. 1970, yeah, a long time ago.
I love the idea of them taking a time. First of all, who in Florence Beach, Oregon, has TNT laying around? Mm-hmm. But they said they set the blasting caps. They were like, well, it'll blow it towards the water. No, it's not. It's just it blew it up and out in every direction. If you've never seen that link, it's truly, truly astonishing. Yeah.
A quick find on YouTube of Oregon town blows up whale carcass will bring up that story. So they get together every year and celebrate this.
Sure they do.
Exploding Whale Day.
When it blew up, that was a smell beyond all description. We said, what do you want us to do? Well, they're going to dispose of this whale at the coast. We want you to go down and cover it. I said, really? And they said, they're going to use dynamite. I said, okay, we'll go.
Mostly what we focus on is bringing the community in, education, and talking about history a little bit. You know, this is a very historical event. We want to make sure that the whale is remembered.
Oh, shut up.
That's the difference between like Portland, Maine and Portland, Oregon. In Portland, Maine, they're like, well, we get together twice a year and we talk about Paul Revere retired in this neighborhood after he had alerted the crowds to the British. And in Portland, Oregon, it's like, well, we blew up a whale out here one time, man, and we want to just get the people together. Good Lord. What history. It's a great time to get together and celebrate history. Man, that's like a Simpsons episode come to life right there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it.
The best of the KQ Morning Show.
The night after the concert, a whole bunch of us decided to go to dinner because that's what you do. And I forgot one of the most important rules of my life, which is no more than 6 people at dinner.
Hi.
That's it. I am group dinner phobic. I've just spent so many years touring, which was great. And then record company people and promoters and different people in the industry always want to take everybody to dinner, which is great. If you go over 6 people, you start adding 15 or 20 minutes per head to the meal is the general rule. And it just drives me crazy. I'm nuts. I've been scarred from this. You know, who's hogging up all the airtime? Who's talking over the whole table? Who's telling the same story again and again? Who cries during dessert because they suddenly appreciate everyone so much? And I just wanted to say it. I mean, large group meals to me are like Zoom meetings. I can't believe how much some people live for those damn things. There it is. I've said it. I have a problem with group dinners. Is this a me problem, or does anyone else have some issues with large dinners at restaurants?
My large dinners are family dinners, which also
those are fraught with their own. There's a lot of potholes there as well, of course.
I usually only go to big dinners if there's obviously a rich person throwing it and they're going to pay for it. I can really isolate myself, and I'm that guy that will just sit there and just keep nodding and smiling. And look at you.
I swear there's something about that 7th chair that pulls up, and I lose the plot. Tony, help me.
That poor 7th person who shows
every time.
I like the big dinners, but you have that urge to jockey to be able to sit by the person like who's the most fun or the most interesting or you like the most. And if you don't get to do that, then that kind of ruins it for me.
There's always something. Candace, do you have one person who thinks they understand the wine list and insists on ordering the wine? There's one person and everyone's like, oh, that's you?
I don't mind big dinners, but I like to bounce around. So it's better that I'm in like the hosting status.
Right.
So I can go around the table.
You're a butterfly. When they start saying, we can put all the tables together, I break out with shingles. Don't even get me started on that when the waiter's like, and what will you have? And they're not writing it down. I'm just, even if they get it right, I'm still mad at them for making me stress about it.
I'm a really good communicator with the service staff. So I always ask them what's good. Right. I tell them to split the check ahead of time. I just like to make things cool.
See, you're cutting things off at the pass, and I appreciate that. From now on, Candace, can you be you can be my 7th.
You have a good point, though. Instead of having the gigantic table, why not split it up? Because you can't talk to the people at the far end
exactly.
Anyway.
I'm glad we could have this conversation. I'm not feeling better. I'm actually just getting wound up. And I have no group dinners planned, but the next one I have, it's like a zit underneath the surface. It's going to pop eventually. It's going to make me crazy. Moments in life when you realize your mom was pretty cool. Or things your mom did that blew your mind. We had a caller who mentioned the fact that his mom mentioned the fact that she had done acid in Glacier National Park once. And it was that, oh, my mom's actually a person. Yeah, got it. Right. We've all got those. Candace, I think we have a caller who wants to talk about mom. What's up, brother?
Good morning. Love your show.
Thank
Long-time
you.
listener.
Right on.
I got a story about mom getting high.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's have it.
Okay, back in 1982, I just got out of the military, and I found out my mother was getting high. So I figured, what the heck? I joined her.
Okay.
So I said, you want to make some extra money, Mom? And she says, sure, because we were on welfare.
Okay.
So I went back to Hawaii and got some pakalolo. That's Hawaiian for crazy smoke.
As one does.
And I bought like a couple pounds, and I had them shipped back.
A couple of pounds?
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the shipping process?
And a footstool.
Attaboy.
And I got it home, and I didn't put it in the freezer like I should have. And it all dehydrated, and she lost a lot.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Man, big difference between getting high and getting rich on getting high.
How did you find out that Mom was doing the crazy smoke?
It was a fluke.
Well,
that answers that.
Okay. No more. Suddenly the cards are close to the chest. Fair enough. We'll leave it at that.
It's a weird way how I found out.
Okay, we'll take you at your word for that. So
she was naked.
That's awesome, man. Anybody that pulls the trigger on getting 2 pounds over to the mainland back in the day, credit to you on gumption, if nothing else.
Hey, she wanted to make money, and she didn't make any, but she spent it.
But this just gets better. Yeah. All right. Well, that's fantastic, man. Thank you for the call. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Have an above-average day.
We'll do our best. The same to you, sir.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, like, you come home, you find out your mom's, smoking weed, and you're like, okay, let's see if we can't capitalize on this. I like that. Sometimes the universe opens up and says, time to cash in.
When I was in my 20s, I was so uptight about, the mom stuff because I would that's when I started finding some of these things out about my mom, like dish time when she liked to do the dishes and would send us all out. There was a window right in front of the sink right there, and we realized years later that she was getting stoned. Now, I was getting stoned. but I didn't know.
Wait, your mom, what?
Yeah, she'd be in there with her tunes on, dancing away, doing the dishes, and getting stoned and blowing it out the window.
That's fantastic.
That was during the dish time. And I was so uptight as a 20-year-old, I was like, well, let's get stoned. No.
You never did the dishes together?
I never did the dishes together. That sounded sexual and weird.
That really did. No.
Yeah, that didn't work for me.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing in the Zepp house when you hear, you dry tonight.
Time to do the dishes.
Yeah, man, no kidding. I'm sorry. When I picture my mom, who I saw at the sink countless times doing the dishes or folding laundry or any of those things, I'm just going to picture her burning a giant blunt during that, and it just changes the entire the specter of my life. If that had been the case, I can't imagine.
The best of the KQ Morning Show.
Guys, if you're like me, you probably spend a few minutes of your day every day double and triple checking the tightness and, the overall elasticity of your ball sack.
Of course.
I'm doing it right
I'm
now,
sorry.
as a matter of fact.
I'm sorry. Candace, I didn't mean to take you by surprise there. Let's talk about it. Let's just get into this, guys and gal.
Okay.
Listen, we all know that the man's coin purse can be a little unsightly at times. We all understand that.
It's odd.
Scrotal tightening. This is a real thing. There is a cosmetic surgery that is growing. The numbers year in and year out continue to go up and up as gentlemen are looking for a more beautiful scrotum.
Does it remove the wrinkles?
I guess
specifically.
I guess that's what it is. I'm just fascinated by this. I can't imagine the conversation you would have with yourself or with anyone else where you're really like, I don't know, man. I've just let my ball sack go. What does that even mean?
Well, don't one of you guys have long balls? I thought it was Zepp because I thought you had like an accident where it got caught.
I took a softball to the nut, had swollen up to the size of a grapefruit.
Sure.
Yeah, which mine did, and then it shrunk back to its normal size with just a little. It's got some scar tissue on their canvas.
Well, it's been stretched then, so perhaps she's right.
Maybe that's it's like when people lose a lot of weight. Sometimes they have extra skin they need to have removed. When I think about the conversation of a man and his doctor having before scrotal tightening, I can only picture it in like a really bad Cockney accent. Like it just sounds like something a guy would be like, well, I just want to get my giggleberries tightened up a bit, It's got to be like, well, I was concerned about the plums, isn't it?
Right.
Because anything they say, you just kind of take it at bit. Well, the tea bag's a bit dodgy these days, and bean bags, berries, whatever they go, every word they say, anything that's even remotely close. I've found with an English guy, you could assume they're talking about their nuts.
Make it highbrow.
That's it. He's got dangling mud flap, don't he? It's like, yeah, he sure does. So I guess that's exactly what we're talking about here. Most guys I know are at least a dozen yoga classes away from getting a good look at their scrotum anyway. Candace, do we have a caller?
Sean from Cokato.
Good morning, Sean.
When you're a little kid and you mark the door jamb of the height every year you grow?
Yeah, sure.
My dad had on the inside of his thigh lines going down every year his balls fell.
Yeah. Would he take a Sharpie?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He would tattoo them in there.
Oh, my God. Really? Wow. That's.
Did you gather around is it like the Christmas tree? Like, okay, it's that time of year again. Let's see where Dad's gone to. Like, hang on. Let me get the kids. Kids, come on in. We're going to take a look at Grandpa's nutsack. Let's go.
When you're a kid, you don't want to see that.
I don't want to see it now. I don't want to see any. There's never an age where that's something I get out of bed thinking, yeah, I'd like to check out an older gentleman's nutsack drop.
Sean, do you worry about that being hereditary?
I may start it up in a couple years.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. What a great way to honor the old man. Right.
Document that and share it. There are moments when you just can't believe the road that we're driving down, and that was one of them.
The best of the KQ Morning Show.
Back to the best of the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
Oh, man. Tony just sent some interesting information about Memorial Day. Some of it's interesting, but I was just thinking everything sounds more interesting if David Coverdale from Whitesnake were to read it. It wasn't always called Memorial Day. It was originally known as Decoration Day. And I like to decorate my estate in Lake Tahoe. I like flower arrangements. I don't know, something about a floral arrangement makes me feel more alive. It doesn't even sound like David Coverdale,
Yes,
but
it
it's gone into some horrible, some combination of him and a butler I saw in a movie about England once or something. David Coverdale in a new version of Upstairs, Downstairs, or Downton Abbey. That's what it's turning into.
By the way, I just read a survey this morning that 1 in 5 of us think that our fake British accent could fool a British person.
Hello.
There it is.
That's eerie.
Oh, my God. Is that Mary Poppins?
Yes.
Don't say govna.
No, a real person would just leave it at gov. Come on.
Yeah.
I do all kinds of British accents knowing full well they're terrible. If there's not another English person around, people are like, that's a really good one. Believe me, they're not. They grow up so much, listen to me, those poor peasants in the UK, but they're so much more American pop culture, shoved down their throats. I toured with Stereophonics for a year, a Welsh band, a great rock band from Wales, and they all do American accents because they all grew up watching American TV. Like, in the 90s in the UK, Friends was the biggest show over there. Like, these guys grew up watching Happy Days just like we did. 70s and 80s, those shows were huge. Again, I'm telling you, my English accents are awful if I'm in England. But yeah, everybody, all these Welsh guys, and their accents were thick, and a couple of the crew guys, I could barely understand a word they say, but in the middle of some big story, they'd be like, it's like, yeah, and he come and he come up, and he gave a shoe, and he looked at me, and he said, who do you think you are, Arthur Fonzarelli? And I'd be like, whoa, what the hell was that? But anyway,
Barbie is the biggest movie of the year. I imagine Mattel stock would be a good thing to be sitting on right now. They're just getting started. Polly Pocket, written and directed by Lena Dunham.
Woo, I'm down.
Starring Lily Collins, already in the works. There's going to be a Hot Wheels movie.
Well, that makes sense.
That does make sense.
I could see that.
I am excited for the next one. Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Okay, wait a minute.
Come on,
how
cool were those?
Yeah, that's cool.
Very cool, except, there was always one that was like on a hair trigger. You just tap it and the head goes off. So it was, and for us, it was the blue one. So you knew if you got the red one, you were the winner, right?
Yeah.
So that sucked a little bit.
Well, that could be a thing. That could be a part of the movie. That could be part of the hero's journey. He's got to get a stronger chin.
You guys are so mean. You just brush through Polly Pocket. You don't even let me speak about it.
I've never even heard of Polly Pocket.
What is a Polly? Oh my gosh, Polly
Candace,
Pocket was iconic.
What is it? It makes me hungry. I think of a Hot Pocket.
I was thinking of Pocket Pool because I'm a weirdo.
It's like Barbie, but tiny. So it's just a tiny little doll, and she has all these cool worlds. There was like a swimming world, like a cool. I can't explain it. So I don't even know what I'm trying to talk about right now. Never mind.
Sounds like a cult, Candace.
It's just mini Barbie.
Tiny Barbies.
You can take her with you wherever you go.
Hence the pocket.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So if they just shoot the Barbie movie over with little people, perhaps.
Yeah, sure.
We represent the
Polly Pocket.
There's a movie for Uno.
What?
Ooh.
Come
Oh,
on.
God.
What?
I will say this: if there were home movies of Gorman Uno battles from the 70s, you'd see some bloodshed. Those would be funny. We would fight more at the Uno table than ever on the basketball court. The competitive nature of the Uno back in the day. Thomas and Friends. Is that Thomas the Tank Engine?
Must be.
Oh my god.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, yeah, Ringo.
Ringo was the first one. They offered, the original Thomas the Tank Engine was offered to John Lennon, and he turned it down. And then after his death, when a bunch of his letters and personal documents were shared with the public, he had written a letter to a friend, and in it he wrote, some BBC punts got in touch and asked me if I wanted to narrate something about a children's show about trains that talk. And he wrote, can you imagine a beetle doing such a thing? And then, of course, Ringo was like, I can imagine, and I will. And he was great at it, too.
I would have enjoyed that if they would have let John Lennon write the narration.
Sir Topham had as a fat capitalist pig.
Oh, I don't. Major Matt Matson?
Major Matt Mason.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I loved that.
Yeah, I remember that old astronaut toy.
Yeah.
So Tom Hanks is starring in that one, Tony.
Oh, hell yeah.
An astronaut named Matt Mason?
Major Matt Mason. He was a
Major
very
Matt Mason.
bendable, posable astronaut.
No, I missed out on the whole thing. All right, well, hey, it's like it's all coming back around. If you missed out on Hot Wheels or Major Matt Mason, just wait a little bit and go to your local Cineplex because we've run out of new ideas about the human experience.
Yeah, the Marvel movies are tanking. Star Wars movie franchise is tanking.
Good.
So now it's
enough
the Mattel.
already. The Hot Wheels will be big, and then they'll do a Matchbox crappy knockoff version. Mm-hmm. I never liked Matchbox cars. I was Hot Wheels all the way.
Polly Pocket.
Did you say Hot Pocket again?
No.
Oh, Polly
now
Pocket.
I'm hungry
My bad.
too.
If you take a Hot Wheels and Polly Pockets, you have yourself a
car
heart
fire.
attack. Yeah, car fire.
That's exactly what you'd have.
The best of the KQ Morning Show.
And by the way, speaking of the great state of Minnesota, after years of people suggesting this, there's a good chance that the Minnesota state flag is going to get a redo. The flag now, of course, you've got the pioneer plowing the field. He's got a rifle by a stump. There's a Native American man on horseback. The backdrop of the St. Anthony Falls and Pines. It's a flag we've all seen a million times. You just need a simpler image. You need something that, bang, it says Minnesota. What's the answer, Zepp?
No, it's got to be a loon sitting on a moose's head.
Tony, what's your Minnesota state flag?
4 cars at a stop sign, and they're all waving each other to go ahead.
The Minnesota standoff.
Right.
That is fantastic. You know what? I can see it. I've experienced it, and I'm appreciative. Candace?
I'm going to have a goat on the flag drinking a Bloody Mary with a beer chaser, and then there's going to be a speech bubble above the goat that says, "Ope."
If they did come to me, if the State House says, Steve, we really think you're the perfect guy to suggest an icon for the Minnesota state flag, I'd go with a pierogi. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a pierogi on the flag, and then I'm like, hey, I'm home. This is Minnesota to me. I'm looking at a bunch of myths, and I'll be the first to tell you, I didn't realize some of these things were myths. Nothing I've had to deal with personally, but things I was under the impression were true that apparently aren't, and I'm a little thrown to the side here. Now, this is one I've never believed true. You can suck the venom out of a snake bite. Something about that always struck me as a little fishy. If a bite does have, if someone is bitten by a venomous snake, the venom's in the bloodstream right away. If you put your mouth on a bite, apparently you are bringing extra bacteria to the wound, and then you might get the venom in your own mouth, which is what always steered me away from it in the first place. Like, well, if it's going to kill them, why am I taking it into my mouth?
Did you ever siphon gas out?
Yes.
Like through a tube, get it in your mouth?
Once.
Legally.
Yeah. Tried it once just to see if it worked, and it did.
Out of taste.
Disgusting.
Right.
Yeah, really bad. The other thing, if someone is bitten by a snake, they say keep that person's heart rate low. Okay, stop right there.
Oh, good luck.
Let me tell you something, because I got a snake thing to begin with. But if a venomous snake gets a fang into me, that heart rate ain't coming down below 140 anytime soon.
All right, let's just do some yoga, deep breathing.
Yeah, no, man. I'm telling you, you best get me in a helicopter stat.
Carry a pan flute. They're very soothing.
I was under the impression when I was...
If I bit by a snake and Tony pulls out a pan flute, I'm going to spend my last minute of life choking you.
Have you got everything you need for the hike? Yeah. I got some Cliff Bars. I got a gallon of water. Oh, hang on. Where's my pan flute? Tony, I think that's a rattlesnake. Do you know green sleeves?
I do.
Do you know green sleeves on the pan flute?
Hang on, Steve.
Oh, I saw this in a movie once, which was like the international symbol from the ground to a helicopter or a plane. If you just wave your arms over your head, like a giant making the like X, crossing your hands, that signaled like danger. I'm in trouble. I need help. It means something.
Yeah.
And I remember being on a golf course as a kid, cutting across the course on the way home, and a helicopter was up in the air, and I did it. And then I saw the helicopter turn and change direction. And I went home and I thought, I scared that helicopter off. They saw me waving my arms, and I was convinced I had changed the course. Whatever course they had charted, they were warded off by my crossing the arms, and the guilt just ate me alive. And I told my mom, and she said, "Okay, honey, no, that's fine. Bring in a little bit of reality to it, calming."
Right on cue.
Hang on. If you put that tourniquet around my knee, I think the venom will stay below. I'm starting to relax now. Thanks, Tony.
I think it's going to be okay.
We're not losing you. Not today.
I didn't know you could talk and play the pan flute at the same time. It's like bagpipes that way. That's amazing.
It's eerily relaxing. It's working for me.
By the way, I just referenced the anti-pan flute, the bagpipes. There's nothing relaxing about those.
No. Haunting.
Is that oh my God, that is a water moccasin. Get the bagpipes. No, the pan flute, you'll kill him.
Although I got to believe if you were walking through the woods playing the bagpipes, there isn't a snake that would come within a mile of you.
That's a very good point.
Prevention, like the accordion. What's going on there?
The old, the Tom Waits line, a gentleman is a man who knows how to play the accordion and chooses not to.
The best of the KQ Morning Show.
If you can already hear the excitement in my voice, it's because it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to play our favorite game on the KQ Morning Show. 2 callers on hold, ready to play. Tony Lee, what is today's game?
All right, let's saddle up.
Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey.
Toast. Toast. Toast.
I would like toast.
Toast. Who wants toast? I love toast.
When this guy put some bread in a toaster, you won't believe what happened next.
You've got bread and a toaster of some kind.
Can you make me a grilled cheese sandwich?
Your breakfast is ready.
I didn't hear a ding.
The KQ Morning Show presents...
All we need to do is beat the toaster.
Beat the toaster.
It's a game show. Beat the toaster.
Breakfast is ready.
All you got to do is beat the toaster, the Northland's most beloved anxiety-inducing game sensation. Here's what we do. We pop a slice of bread into the toaster here in the studio. We'll give you a category. Then you name as many things that pop into your pretty little head as possible in 15 seconds before the toast pops. Go ahead and beat the toaster.
Oh, it's the best. I'm so excited. Let's do it. Let's see if we can beat this toaster. Candace, who's our first caller today?
Kelly from Burnsville.
Kelly, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you ready to play Beat the Toaster?
Yeah.
These categories are a little odd. So open your mind, expand your mind.
You made it harder?
Breathe deeply, Kelly. Let your subconscious take over, and we wish you the best of luck.
God help me, Steve.
God help me, Steve.
The nicest thing anyone said to me in years.
Kel, you're familiar with the Minnesota State Fair and the attractions that exist there?
Yep.
Okay, so you're at the State Fair. You're going to ride a boat in the dark in Ye Old Mill.
Yep.
All right, in your deepest fantasies, who's riding in the boat with you? Go ahead.
Ozzy Osbourne, John Bon Jovi, Eric Clapton, Steve, Tony, let's see, not Bill Clinton, Donald Trump. Let's see.
You guys are in good company. Fun boat ride.
6, I believe.
I got 6. Yeah. Do you take one away for not Bill Clinton? Or all right.
No, we don't. We're not subtracting. I honestly, I would pay money to see Ozzy and Donald Trump on a boat ride, just hanging out, chatting. That'd be fantastic. All right, so I got 6. I heard Ozzy, John Bon Jovi, Eric Clapton, Tony Lee. All right. I guess that's Steve Gorman. I appreciate that. And Donald Trump. 6 is a strong start, Kelly. Now, you're going to get round 2 in just a moment, so sit tight. We're going to go to caller number 2 for their round number 1 right now. Candace, who is caller number 2?
We have Don from Plymouth.
Don, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right, Don, we're going to give you the State Fair flavor as well. Even though it's dipped in delicious batter and fried to golden goodness, you won't eat it. What won't you put in your mouth? Go ahead.
A nasty, bogus sausage, a piece of an egg, a candy bar, ice cream, onions, and pizza.
Wow. Okay. A nasty, bogus sausage. That's number 1. Egg, candy bar. That's 6. I got 6. Wow, this is. I like it. 6. Well done, Don. You wouldn't eat a deep fried candy bar? That's the one thing I had.
You know, I did too, and it burnt the heck out of my mouth.
Well, sit down. Take a. Jeez.
That hot candy.
I should have waited, I guess. But you know how it is.
I know. You're very excited.
I like a good neck and neck beat the toaster.
Sure.
All right, Don, sit tight. We're going back to Kelly for round 2. Kelly, are you ready? We're going to step it up. It's kind of like double jeopardy around here. This one might be a little tougher.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, do me a favor. Look at your feet. Maybe you're barefoot. Doesn't matter. Go ahead and assign nicknames to all of your toes. Go.
Piggy Wiggy, Daffy Duck, Donald Duck, Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse, Joe Biden, and Zach, and my brother, and my dad, and my uncle.
Well, I don't think we got Dad in there. I got 8.
She's getting political
1, 2,
again.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I got 8. My brother is the last one.
Right. Can I please be the big toe?
You're Sergeant Holka.
You are our Sergeant Holka. Wow.
Aren't I?
Piggy Wiggy.
Yes.
Daffy Duck, Donald Duck, Minnie, Mickey. That was strong. All right, Kelly. You went 1, 2, what did we say? Was that 8? Wow, 14 total. All right, so sit tight, Kelly. Great job. 14 points in 2 rounds. Don, we're ready for round 2. You got your work cut out for you, brother. Kelly went for 8 on that one.
Taking a cleansing breath.
Yeah,
a deep breath. It's great.
Up,
I understand. All right, Big Don. You're invited to a party you really don't want to go. Give some excuses to get you out of it. Go ahead.
I'm sick. I have to work. I got something I got to do. I'm ready to buy some tickets to a concert. I'm cooking. I have to bring my mom to the doctor. I have to bring my girlfriend to the doctor. I got to cut the lawn. I got to water the garden.
Ooh, I got. Wow. I got 9.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow.
Dang.
Don.
Right.
With 9 in round 2. Holy crap. What an effort, sir.
I make a lot of excuses.
Yeah,
clearly not your first rodeo for BSing your way out of an obligation.
But seriously, on a serious note, I do hope your mom and your girlfriend will be okay.
Hopefully they don't hear this, but I probably used that already on them.
Well.
More than once.
Don, sir, you have got 2 tickets to see Eric Clapton at the Excel Energy Center, provided by Jam Productions. Kelly, you're not leaving empty-handed. Wonderful work on your end. We have tickets for you to the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. That prize provided by the very same. Congrats to both of you. That was great.
That's got to be some sort of the All-Stars. Have we ever had a 14 and a 15? I don't think we've had that many.
It's our biggest total.
No, we've never come close to that.
Everybody really wants to see you go to the State Fair, man. There's 154 comments.
This is great work, people.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.